Hi, this is 365801 and this is the Buzzword Readathon or the 2021 Reading Challenge, and this is for the month of November. Now I suppose it does bear repeating. If you need any more extra info about the Buzzword Readathon or the 2021 Reading Challenge, head on over to Books and Lala's channel, where she gives you loads of recommendations for each of the different buzzwords for this month. Now the buzzword for the month of November is the word lost, which is just a single word, which is really handy because last month was a thematic one and they are a killer because they just give you so many ideas for reading. And lost is pretty solid. You're either in the title or you're not. And Kayla has got loads of recommendations for books that have the word lost in the title if you are looking for something and you don't yet know what you want to read. Now, of course, I've been trying to read from my collection, so I mostly have been reading BL or male romance, something along those lines. So of course, the first thing I do is go over to my spreadsheet and type in the word lost. And as I mentioned in a previous video, there is only one physical title that has the word lost in its title, and that is Lost Boys. So Lost Boys is a sort of Peter Pan yaoi manga by Kaname Itsuki. I think it's from 2006, yep. And so it is quite an old title, and obviously you can see that it's old because of the pink bottom, and that usually indicates that it's quite an old print version. I don't actually think I have ever read this, so I'm kind of intrigued as to how BL or yaoi is told Peter Pan style. So this is the one and only title, print title, that is definitely going on my November TBR. Now with only one title to read for November, I was thinking, it's going to be a bit of a small month, which is fine. So I did head on over to Futekia because I do like trying to read as many titles as I possibly can from Futekia every month, and I did really well in October. So I was hoping, fingers crossed, to do it again. So I typed in the word lost into their search engine and I scrolled down and came up with absolutely nothing. There were no titles from Futekia to read. So far it's just the one title. I was feeling a little bit despondent because I'd have to actually come up with some plans on my own at this point. So I went over to Sublime, and how could I have forgotten? There is a fantastic series, a BL manga series called Lost Letters. This is by Sakai Kusama, and I read this almost every year. I think I haven't read it so far this year, and well do another reread because I absolutely love this series. It's actually a 4-volume series. It starts with The Match Seller. That is the first volume, and then the next volume is Lost Letters Volume 1, 2 and 3. So it's a 4-volume series. It's only available digitally, but it is absolutely fantastic. It is top tier, my 100% top 10 historical BL manga. Definitely up there, probably in the top 5, maybe even top 3. I love it so much. Now, because I got lucky with Sublime, I headed on over to the June or June manga website and I typed in Lost Boys came up, but then another one, Lost in the Snow, came up, but they don't have it and I don't think it's available, so I don't know anything about it. It's something I need to investigate. Now, even though I don't suppose I will actually be purchasing anything from Renta, I did think it would be good to just go over and check. And there were 4 titles other than Lost Boys available. So one is Lost Dog, Cunning Cat, and I think that's an anthology of short stories, which I'm not really in the mood for, because I think Lost Boys is going to be a bit like that anyway. Love for the Lost Souls, The Young Lords Lost It, and A Shrine of Male Relationships, Lost Anal, Virgin in Threesome. I'm wondering about the English for that title, which is kind of putting me off. And The Young Lords Lost It. I looked at some of the reviews, it looks really bad. So the only one that really intrigues me is Love for the Lost Souls, which is kind of like a maybe second chance, sports, BL. It looks interesting and it's all one story, which I'm interested about. So I did head on over to Messenger to see what they had, and they had Lost in the Cloud, which is the only BL title that has Lost in the title. And at the moment you can read the first couple of episodes for free, and then the rest of them are on sale, or maybe just the first few for 1 coin or 2 coins. So you could buy this if you're interested. So Lost Boys is my official TBR for the month of November, or at least for the Buzzword Readathon. I will of course add Lost Letters, or the Match Seller 4-volume series onto that. So I have 5 volumes to read for the month of November. And that's probably a good thing. I've seen the astrology forecast for November. It's not looking good. So maybe it's a good idea to just give myself minimal things to read, or just give myself good things to read, because it doesn't look like it's going to be a good month. Gird your loins, people. Gird your loins. If you are, keeping an eye on astrology, maybe you'll have an idea about that as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with Lost Boys and Lost Letters, but I think I will add a few other things onto my TBR as well. Now for a slightly longer series, I would like to read I Hear the Sunspot Limit Volume 3 is the one I picked up this year and I haven't yet read. So the full 5-volume series would be quite a good longer BL series to read. I have been desperately looking forward to this, and then of course I never actually got round to reading it, so I think it would be really fun to take one of the weekends in November and just blitz it for the whole weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday, just enjoy myself, enjoy the tears, the laughter and the fuzzy warm feelings that it gives me, which I might need depending on how November turns out. Now I have also been trying to read some of my yaoi novels in my collection, and The Lonely Egotist is a fairly new title that I picked up this year, and it's one that was very expensive, but it's also one that I think might actually be one of the better ones. And I'm kind of fingers crossed, looking forward to reading it. I do hope that it is a bit better than some of the others I have read so far this year. I even realised that I'd started one, I think it was in June or July, and I didn't actually finish it. It's still got the bookmark, so hopefully this one will do better than that one that I totally forgot about. When I picked up I Hear the Sunspot, I realised that there was also a few titles that I have purchased this year that I haven't actually read yet. As you can see in front of you, The World's Greatest First Love, Volume 14. I did a big Sekaiichi Hatsukoi read in January-February time, and then I picked this one up in May, but I don't actually think I read it. So I definitely need to do that. I also picked up Therapy Game Volume 2 and Finder Volume 10, so there's a few Sublime titles that I really want to read, and I haven't actually sat down and read them, so I might do a big Sublime manga blitz and just read loads of Sublime manga titles that I've picked up in the past year. And haven't actually got round to reading yet. So that would be a really fun, easy way to spend a Saturday or a Sunday and enjoy myself reading lots of volumes of fun, sweet, fluffy manga. So in front of you, you can see just a wee selection of some Sublime titles I'm interested in. The Lonely Egotist, which is the yaoi novel I'm interested in. I Hear the Sunspot, which is to represent the whole series. That's a 5-volume series. So I think it counts as my long-running series, and I'm not too sure if the Love Letters does, because it's 4 volumes. Ooh. What do you think? What counts or constitutes a long-running BL series? How many volumes does it need to have? I'm interested to know what other people think. And of course, what I'm actually desperately need to read for the Buzzword Readathon, Lost Boys. It's the reason for this TBR video. And of course, Lost Letters will definitely be read. Now, in addition to what's here, I have thought about other things that I haven't been reading. So for example, my Futekia I'm trying to read, but I also purchased the Humble Bundle earlier in the year, and there are a few titles on there that I know I have no idea what they are. Some of these Humble Bundle titles are available with Kindle Unlimited, and they're also now being uploaded onto Futekia. So I may have read some of them, but I do think it might be good to, once again, take a weekend, maybe do a vlog as well, and just blitz reading all of the Humble Bundle titles. which would also really help with my Goodreads reading challenge for 2021. My goal is to read, unsurprisingly, 365 titles in the year, and I am a little bit behind, but not massively behind. But if I sat down and just blitzed a big chunk of manga in a day, I would definitely catch up to my goal. It's not a huge goal, but it is still a challenge to read at least one title a day for the full year. So that's another thing that I might do. If anyone is interested in doing any buddy reads with any of these titles, you know, if you're like, I'm available this weekend, let's do it this weekend, then we could definitely do that. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in doing any buddy reads with any of these titles. Now, the other thing that I'm trying to read at least one a month, and I'm doing really well, and that is male romance, but I am trying to at least try and see if I can pick out some that are either LGBTQ or queer romance, and they have the buzzword in the title as well. So if you know any great male romance or LGBTQ romance stories that have lost in the title, let me know, because I am kind of new to figuring out and finding titles, so that would be really helpful if you've got any recommendations for me. Now, another title I know I will be listening to, not reading but listening to, is A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. I just got the email today and I'm so excited. NetGalley have allowed me access to the audiobook of this new title that's coming out in December. Now, it first went up on NetGalley a few months ago, I think, just as the prose version, and I did request it, and of course I was denied because I just started with NetGalley, but they have allowed me access to the audiobook, so I'm really excited, because at first I was like, oh, this sounds like something I'd really want to read. It's historical fiction, so obviously I'm gonna love it. It's LGBTQIA+, and it's sci-fi and fantasy all together, and it just sounds marvelous. A Marvelous Light. I am really excited about this one, so I really hope it's a good one. So that's definitely something I'm going to be reading in November as well. So that is my TBR for the month of November. It's not terribly long. It's got a few rereads in there as well, which I think will help me to feel calm, because anxiety levels are pretty high at the moment, and hopefully November will end up being just an absolutely fine month, nothing to worry about. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but that's okay. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Remember, every day is a BL day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!